Roberto Clemente, Chapter 2. Earn It. Melchior Clemente, Roberto's father, could not read or write. He worked all his life on the large farms called plantations that grew sugar cane in Puerto Rico. When Melchior Clemente was a boy, children as young as 6 had to work in the fields. There was no time to go to school. Families were large. If the children did not help earn money, there would not be enough food to eat. Melchior Clemente wanted his children to have a better life than he had. He worked hard so that all the Clemente children could go to school. The Clemente family did not have much money, but they were not as poor as many of the children who lived around them. When Roberto was growing up, his father made $4 a week as a foreman in charge of workers who cut the sugar cane. Besides cutting sugar cane, he ran a small store that sold food to the workers. He also owned a truck that he rented out. Luisa Clemente helped out as well. She washed clothes for the rich family who owned the sugar plantation. When the Clemente children were not in school, they worked to help the family. Roberto and his brothers were hired by builders to load and unload sand and other building materials from their father's truck. In the summer, Melchior often took his children with him to work in the cane fields. One hot summer day, Roberto and his father were working near the road that ran through the fields. The road went to San Juan, the biggest city in Puerto Rico. Beep, beep! A horn sounded. Melchior and Roberto looked up and watched a large black car make its way toward them along the dusty road. The car slowed down as it passed. Roberto could see an old, light-skinned man dressed in a white shirt and a tie sitting in the back seat. He was the owner of the plantation on his way to lunch at a fancy hotel in San Juan. The plantation owner smiled and waved, but Melchior did not smile or wave back. He just nodded his head a little toward the old man as the car passed. Roberto stared at the back of the car. "Why didn't you wave, Papa?" he asked. "That was the big shot." This is a picture. It says Roberto and his father often worked together in sugarcane fields like this one. Melchior frowned. "Don't ever forget," he told Roberto. "He is no better than you." Roberto never forgot. On that day, the 9-year-old Roberto had something important on his mind. "Papa," he said, "can I have a bicycle?" Melchior said nothing. The Clementes had just enough money to put food on the table and buy the clothes the children needed to go to school. There was nothing extra for a bicycle. "Please, Papa." Roberto looked hopefully at his father. He wanted a bicycle almost as much as he wanted to be a baseball player. "You must earn it yourself," Melchior said. Soon Roberto heard about a neighbor who needed someone to carry a heavy can of milk to his house from the store every day. The store was half a mile away. The man said he would pay 3 cents a day. So every morning at 6 o'clock, the sleepy Roberto stumbled out of bed to get the milk. He lugged the can to the neighbor's house, took the pennies home, and tossed them into a glass jar his mother kept in the kitchen. Louisa smiled as she heard the plunk of the coins landing in the jar day after day. Slowly, the jar filled up. After 2 years, Roberto had enough money for a bicycle. The bicycle was almost new. It was bright red, and the paint was still shiny. Roberto hopped on his bicycle. He wanted to show his father. He pedaled down the road that led to the sugarcane fields. Soon, the shiny red bike was covered with dust. But Roberto didn't care. When he saw Melchior bending over the cane, he shouted, "Papa, Papa, look!" Melchior looked up. Roberto waved to his father from the bicycle he had earned all by himself. Melchior grinned and waved back. He had always told his children, "Be proud of who you are, work hard, and pay your own way." Melchior also believed in helping others who had even less than he had. Life in Puerto Rico was hard, but the Clemente family would never let others go hungry. Roberto Clemente learned all of his father's lessons well.